Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. So, was not expecting this today, but I guess it couldn't have happened at the most precise moment. Today was the day I was fighting for my ranking and my gaming. I had scheduled today to be purely gaming, no Doctor Who, all that stuff. I said there might be a chance that something may change the plans, and here's the thing. Before I continue on the Rehobians cast, I just want to let everybody know that in case you didn't know me, I'm heavily into competition on PlayStation. Um, and been trying so hard this whole year to keep my ranking and try to do better, but it's been very, very difficult without a job, as you know. But I've still been able to do it, and I was going to do it just now. But I got a phone call from my source from the BBC, and after the 21-minute phone call, I have to talk about what I heard with Doctor Who, and I understand that if I do, it's taking away from my gaming, and I will lose my ranking that I worked so hard for the whole entire year and a few months to keep. I'm probably going to lose definitely. And it's a decision I had to make, not lightly, because again, I can't do both. Okay. So I'm not going to really get into it now. I'm not happy with the gaming part that's going to happen, but I have to talk about what I was told about Doctor Who and the future Doctor Who. Now, let's try to put this in categories. Okay. One, I'm going to just address this briefly. I don't appreciate these comments every single day from people from Ireland connected with Noel Tardizone. You're not going to get me to drop my channel. You're not going to get me to stop talking about Doctor Who. You're not going to get me to do anything. You're going to piss me off even further and probably influence this decision today. So I don't care what you have to say. Okay. So stop with the, I'm going to delete. I don't even care if I shut the damn comments off. You're going to stop mentioning other YouTubers on here. You're going to stop trying to make a lie for the past 4 days about where I get my information from. You have no idea. And now, after today's decision, I'm going to be doing Doctor Who so goddamn much, your head's going to spin. So eat that. Now, down to business. There's been a lot of uncertainty in Doctor Who. There's been a lot of us questioning what the hell happened, what's going on. One of the biggest things that sucks is the fact that you will never know what goes wrong because they will spin it to where that was always the plan, even though it wasn't the plan. And everybody knows that, but we don't know what I was told today about why things went wrong. Okay. So, again, I just want to clarify, I love Shooty Gawa, and that's not going to change. And despite what I was told about different things that happened between him and his contract and stuff, that's not going to change the way I feel about him. I do love him. I think he's a great doctor. But I have to state what was told to me, and it's only fair to the viewers. And I'm not trying to, again, I've been Shooty's biggest supporter, so I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But I have to say what is truthful, and I have to vindicate Russell T. Davies because I had come down hard on him. And again, this was a big deal. This is my BBC source, flat out calling me. And That's the big source. The biggest source I have. And I got to rectify some things. Okay. You all know my genuine reaction to Billie Piper appearing in that regeneration sequence. In case you didn't see it, a lot of people saw it. I said the F word more than any time probably in history in doing a video. I was basically enraged. Okay. Pure rage, pure anger, pure hatred, fed up with everything. That day I was so fed up. I said, this is the last real Whovians. And then, despite everybody talking me into it, Modern Age Nerd, Hayden, Joe, my son, Sharon, was going to give away the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, and let Joe host them today.
Oh shit! Here we go.
All right.
What's happening?
Just giving a little history about what happened with the real Whovians, and then Joe's going to be the host, and now Joe's not, and whatever. But anyway, now here's the thing. I watched it so many times that I was convinced that Billie Piper's not the doctor.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way. All right, so let's go over what my source had told me. And again, this is the source. This is the BBC source. My number one source. This is it.
Bigger than Marty.
This is the biggest source I've had since I started YouTube.
This is good.
All right, here we go. All right, one more time. Whatever I have to say, I don't want people to think that I'm turning against Shooty, but I have to state what Russell T. Davies went through. And right now, Russell T. Davies is not happy. He's really pissed off. And he has every reason to be, but not the way you think. A lot of us have been questioning what the F is going on with the scripts. What the F is going on with the scripts. This is not him. What's going on? Why is he doing it like this? It turns out that the majority of the scripts were compromised for Doctor Who Season 1 and Doctor Who Season 2. There was a lot of factors because of this. Shooty was signed to a 3-season contract. And he took the contract immediately, but did not realize that he was going to get a lot of roles, to which he did turn them down. He did want to leave after Season 1 because he was going to lose an abnormal amount of money, and he was unhappy because of that. That Disney did step in, and other factors stepped in where he got more money to stay for Season 2. Now, while this was going on, they were also dealing with the fact that they had a problem with Millie Gibson, that we heard rumblings here and there, but it was actually worse than we ever thought. And it wasn't a simple thing of Russell making a mistake. It had to be done, and it wasn't just Russell. It was coming from the BBC and everyone that this behavior was not to be tolerated. The story arc was never supposed to be that her mother was ordinary. Russell had said that because they're not going to ever say what happens that goes wrong. And there was a big 3-year arc about Ruby Sunday's mother. Okay? It was a huge effing thing. But as they were filming Season 1, they were having massive problems. All that stuff about her being a diva and everything turns out to be true. It was interfering with the filming. It was causing friction on set. chain of command, all these different things. And the scripts in season 1 had to be changed. So season 2, she was taken out, but then of course they had to hire her back because stuff just didn't make sense. But there's a reason why the doctor treated her differently in the finale, and it has to do with them changing the script, and it has to do with Russell not happy, really, with everything. And again, we've seen this happen before, where when they're angry, they seep stuff into the script, and we've seen a big change with Clara from the way she was written for the 11th Doctor to the way she was written for the 12th Doctor, and they kind of made her like a snob. They kind of made her like a pain in the ass. They kind of made her different. And that was to do with the writing, with Moffat getting mad that the scripts had to kept changing, and then she left, and then she wanted to come back, Jenna Louise Coleman. So, of course, this seeps into the scripts, and it doesn't make sense to us, and we're like, why is the doctor treating her like shit? Why is she looking like, stop talking to us, you don't know what you're talking about, like, whatever. So, he was excited about season 3. But I guess he believed, since it was done before, that he should get a raise like he did before for season 3. And he had asked him about it, and then he makes an announcement on Graham Norton, and then it's mysteriously cut. And then you find out that the answer was no, you're not going to get a raise. And then it was like a thing where big conversation back and forth about, I'm losing a lot of money. I really should have a raise because I'm giving up all these roles. And then they said flat out, if you want out of your contract, we will grant that request. Nobody buying out anybody. First of all, nobody was buying anybody's contract out. Now, he could have decided to stay anyway and fulfill his contract, but he's like, all right, you're going to give me an out. You're not going to give me a raise. I can't turn down these roles. Scripts had to change. The season finale became an absolute terror and a disaster from what it originally was supposed to be. And they had to change it. Russell had to change it on the fly, last minute. And it became horrible. Did not become everything he was promoting. It didn't become anything that it just became terrible. And most of his scripts were becoming terrible, where you're like, well, how could The Well be so much better and then everything else is not as good? Why is this happening? Because the majority of the scripts were compromised. As far as Disney goes, Disney is distributing Doctor Who, but ultimate decision of everything to do with Doctor Who, of course, is with Russell, with Bad Wolf. They have control over Doctor Who for years to come. The BBC had given them, in that special contract, executive powers with Doctor Who, and the BBC backed Bad Wolf and Russell 100%. No one's going to remove Russell T Davies, and no one's going to remove Bad Wolf, and no one's going to break the contract with Russell and Bad Wolf. And it turns out that it's not Russell's fault why all the scripts were compromised. And it wasn't just Russell that wasn't happy with all the scripts being changed, but the other writers weren't thrilled either. They're also not happy that Disney had planned with BBC. They were excited about all this merchandise they were supposed to have. And as you know, and I was just talking about that the other day, where the hell is the merchandise? Nothing came to fruition. Nothing made it. There was nothing to promote Doctor Who. There was nothing out to promote season 1, season 2. The Barbie dolls came so damn late that, yes, fans are going to get them, but it's kind of defeats the purpose now, because what are you promoting? The Doctor's gone, Ruby Sunday's gone. Now, Shudigawa did love being the Doctor and was energetic about being the Doctor in season 3. He really believed he was going to get that raise, and that was going to sort of make him not worry about the money he was going to lose with some of these opportunities. But he did not get that raise again, and that's why they cut his segment, because they felt that he was going to flip out, obviously, when he found out that he didn't get his raise, and they didn't know how he was going to be. They didn't know how it was going to go with his contract. Of course, he was very nice about it. There was no big battles. There was no whatever, but he opted to be opted out. And there was no screaming. There was no whatever. It just was a huge, huge inconvenience to everyone, all the writers, all the production team. There was that whole thing with season. It was discussed with me that was supposed to go right into season 3. And now, because the script is so screwed up with the Poppy and everything, they, from what I was told with the BBC, they have no idea what Russell's going to do now, how he's going to fix that. As far as the illusion goes about all these doom and gloom YouTubers that are creating this image that Disney is done with Doctor Who, and Doctor Who is done, from what I was told, it's complete fucking bullshit. That's the words. And there's nothing that's going to stop Doctor Who from continuing. Let me just say this one more time. There is nothing that is going to stop Doctor Who from continuing. Period. Now, let's talk about what I've always talked about, is the Doctor Who Christmas special. Everything I've said about Russell, saying that how important the Christmas special is to Doctor Who, is 100%. Everything that I've said about the Christmas special, what it means to the BBC, is 100%. The BBC wants a Christmas special. Russell wants a Christmas special. The reason why we're in limbo is because, of course, after you got a taste of that Disney money, you want that Disney money. You want to be able to know how much you could spend, and they're holding out for that Disney money. Now, regardless of what Disney Plus says, which, from what I was told, they're leaning towards, like, still being with Disney Plus. From what I was told, the relationship is great with Disney Plus, and all these people talking about the ratings and all this other stuff is complete bullshit. He was talking to me about how they go about looking at different things and ratings, and how there's other factors involved that these people are not covering, that I'm not going to really mention right now. But people have touched upon it, that they made a lot of money in the movie theaters. that is gonna, from what I understand, gonna continue. I don't know to the extent of how it's gonna continue, but the moment they kept getting a taste of extra money, they wanted to continue. And again, it may continue more than once during a season. Not definite on that. So Russell's state of mind is he is really, really, really pissed off. 100% pissed off. He feels that people don't understand why the scripts came out fucked up, and they're blaming him. But at the same time, he's a gentleman and a scholar, and he does not want to expose anybody or blame anybody. And he's taking on the responsibility himself, but he's totally not to blame. So again, my BBC source, didn't tell me, I should really say anything towards Russell. But they are aware of what I've said, and I'm not happy. Okay. And I understand and I feel bad, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to take back what I said. I do not like it that they did that stunt with Billie Piper. I told my source that it was fucked up. And he told me that 100% it was 100% it was a gimmick. So Russell was desperate. Everything was falling apart. And Billie Piper did do him a favor. That is true. Now, again, none of that was planned. And honestly, I had speculated about Bad Wolf. A lot of people have. And I was kind of very detailed when I said that the TARDIS being off was like Rise of the Cybermen. When the TARDIS, again, as much as I'm speculating everything, as far as I'm aware, they were in panic mode. She filmed it. They have no idea what the fuck's going on. No fucking clue. It was completely a fucking stunt. No fucking future on what the fuck is going to happen now. They don't even know. And the sad part is they're more concerned with the Christmas special. But then they can't have the Christmas special because if she is the Doctor, that's probably going to go against the plans that they were going to do anyway. So, yeah. Just fucking Hail Mary pass. Could you do us a favor? Sure. No idea what the fuck that was supposed to be. No idea. I'm sorry. I want to make it look good and make it nice and maybe help Russell out, but it's not reality. Probably is Bad Wolf, but that was never thought thoroughly through. It was like, oh shit, we can't have a fade out because that would create a negative thing where everybody was convinced that the Doctor was done and canceled, that they could not be repaired from, they could not come back from. So they just had to throw somebody on there, but not just anybody. And it was purely a fucking gimmick. They had no choice. There was literally no choice. And it was thought up last minute. Is it the right decision? Absolutely not. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Do I want to ever see that again? Absolutely not. I don't care how fucking bad things are on the set. I don't give a fuck who gives you a problem, contract negotiation. I don't care. You should have basically got a new doctor, immediately chosen. But again, I would have said, yeah, fade to black, Bad Wolf, but I know that wouldn't have worked. And I understand how hard it is to convince people if they're convinced it's canceled because they never say the doctor returns. They never say that doctor will return. They never, they would never show a face. People will be 100% convinced that doctor's done. I asked him about David Tennant, and from what I understand, there is no contract with David Tennant right now, or anyone like Catherine Tate, and that if they were to get him, they would have to renegotiate a brand new contract. They're leaning towards not doing that. But as far as older doctors go, they were 100,000,000% extremely happy with Jodie Whittaker. 100,000,000% happy with Jodie Whittaker. What does that mean? I have no idea, honestly. But what it usually means is that if they're that emphasizing happy with Jodie Whittaker, that means that she may appear again. Now, I'm not saying she is appearing. I'm saying that with everything going wrong, she was what was going right. And with everything going wrong, you go to lean towards what's going right. Okay. They don't know what Russell's going to do about Susan because now things are screwed up with the way it was with Poppy and with what happened. None of that was supposed to happen, period. So they don't know themselves how Russell's going to write himself out of that one. And they said it's going to be very difficult. They did learn some things that they did not know before. When it comes to casting the doctor, they're going to do things differently, where the person that's asked has to understand that this is your life for the next whatever the contract is, and there can't be any things that's going to interfere with the integrity of the show and the scripts and everything. There ain't going to be no asking for raises. There ain't going to be no pulling some different things, and then at the same time the actress, like whatever, they are going to flat out, if this happens again with the companions, they're going to flat out fire that companion again. Any companion that pulls that shit, or any actor or actress that pulls shit where dominance over the integrity of the show. Now again, it might have been that she felt extremely bad about it, and from what I was told, she has, and she's been trying to get them to understand and like apologize in certain ways, and they did hire her back. But I pretty much believe that she's done, and Verada Situ is done in Doctor Who. Despite the Barbie of Ruby Sunday, despite everything. So yeah, there was too many things going wrong, and now going forward, when a doctor is chosen, they're going to take the time to make sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you're going to hire an up-and-coming actor that's in a hit movie or whatever, that person has to understand that this contract is sealed. They'll get lawyers involved. They'll do whatever. And that there's not going to be no raises, no fooling around, no nothing. That what you're offered is what you get, and they don't give a shit who's offering you movie roles. The fact that people had to step in to get him a raise to stay for 2 was an issue. And I'm not going to say, what's come from that. But, of course, if the money wasn't there and then almost miraculously appeared for a raise to get him to stay, that's going to have consequences. Or it's going to be some payback somewhere. So, from what I was told, just like I've been reporting, the Christmas special means everything to the BBC and to Russell. It means so much, you have no idea, more so than the season. BBC have always made their intentions clear. They even fought with Chris Chibnall about it. They always wanted him to do a Christmas special, and he never wanted to do a Christmas special. They don't want to compromise. They don't want New Year's special. They want a Christmas special every freaking year, uninterrupted. The one thing that I was told that you could be guaranteed going forward past this year, not necessarily this Christmas, but if shit goes down, that there is no Christmas special, there's going to be a lot of people that are friggin' furious, and the BBC the most are going to be pissed off. Russell also is under the mindset of a Christmas special, time-honored tradition in the UK, has to happen, whether you have a season or not. There has to be Doctor Who every Christmas. They're going to make a goddamn fucking mandate about it going forward. Where it doesn't matter if there will not even be a season, there will always be a Christmas special going forward. Always. Russell is having meetings. He is trying in the worst way to get the Christmas special out. There are massive obstacles with this. One, he doesn't want to be rushed to explain the mess that he created, really, the Billie Piper thing. He doesn't want to be rushed. He likes to do things in advance, and he likes time. All the season 3 scripts from Russell and all the writers have to be changed. I was correct when I told you they were handed in at the end of August, but they were all written for Shooty, and they were all written around the companions, and they all have to change. This is not minor changes. We're talking major changes to every single script, all 8 scripts, and a script for Christmas connected to that. So you're talking 9 episodes have to be massively reworked. As it was told to me, you know that if it's going to be that much effort to rework a script, the decision may come to just throw the damn script in the garbage and start from scratch. I don't know what Russell's decision is going to be about that, but there is not one script that can be made the way they were written because they were all connected to Shudi's doctor and they were all connected to whatever companion things they were going to do. So, what does this mean for this Christmas special? Well, my BBC source really feels bad for Russell, doesn't know what he's going to do. There is scripts they could go with. There is scripts that Moffat has done. There are scripts that have been made in case of an emergency, but he has no idea. As far as his opinion from the BBC himself, not the entire BBC, but he feels that so much shit going on, he would suggest, just go with Billie Piper and just do it because it's just too much shit going on. Too much time would take to recast a new doctor, but that's him from wanting Doctor Who out right away and just work around it. But he said it himself. They're probably, Russell's not going to probably do that. And, Bad Wolf's not going to do that. And again, it's not all BBC. It's just his opinion. Just film with Billie Piper and let's go. But again, I'm not on board with that. But they're also aware, the BBC, that the majority of people are not on board with that. And they don't really want, it was never meant for her to be the doctor, period. Again, one more time, it was never meant for her to be the doctor, period. It was a gimmick to delay the inevitable. There was no doctor chosen. To release a Fade to Black would have meant 100% people convinced that the show was canceled, and that is not something the BBC wanted, and that's not something Russell wanted or Bad Wolf. But he just there was a slot machine, and he pulled it down, and whatever came up, that's what you go with. He asked Billie Piper for a favor. She said yes immediately. Let's go. Let's film. It's done.
Voila.
It's done.
That was a 38-minute scoop.
Yeah.
That was a full video. And I was just letting you roll with it. I was loving it. I didn't even know I was here half the time. I was just listening to you. I was like, this is great.
Russell is really upset about fans being upset with the whole Susan thing with him. Not his fault. And believe me when I tell you, like Marty was saying, that they are aware her age is a factor. They are aware she can't walk. And again, from what he said in the BBC, he has no idea what Russell's going to do. And he thinks that Russell doesn't know what he's going to do either.
Do you know what I think I'd say if I was from an outside the source, I didn't know you at all. Do you know why I would believe this? Because it kind of actually even goes against what you have believed, which tells me that this is not some scoop that just validates what you think. This is a legit scoop. And, the fact that it's even sort of changed your feelings on some things means that this is obviously a person you trust, and this is very reliable info. And do you know what? From the film industry, and what goes on behind the scenes there, this is very in line with that. You can tell something as small as,
I'm struggling. I got to tell you, I'm struggling because I 100% back Ncuti Gatwa.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to go against Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah.
But Russell's brought Doctor Who back, and Russell saved a lot of people's lives, and Russell came back and saved Doctor Who, and I basically told Russell T. Davies to go fuck himself.
You did.
I did.
Yeah.
I told Russell T. Davies to go fuck himself. And I called him a son of... I called Russell T. Davies a son of a bitch.
You did. You motherfucker.
You motherfucker. And now, that's the greatest thing because he's laughing when he's talking to me, the BBC guy. Because they all... And he's like... And I'm like shaking. Because I'm so fucking upset that like he's trying to tell me how it went down with Judy. And I'm like, I just told Russell T. Davies to go fuck himself. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And the point is, the smiles on Graham Norton when he's like, I'm going to be in season 3. It's not just a smile that he thought it was going to be season 3. The smile was because, and I'm sorry, I love you, Shooty. I love you. Please don't take this. I have to be honest now, right? Your smile on Graham Norton was because you fucking thought you were getting a second motherfucking raise and you're taking that shit to the bank. Oh shit. Hallelujah. They're fucking giving me a raise where they never gave anybody fucking raises. Whoa! Whoa!
I've written 3 notes from your ramble. I've got 3 key notes I want to share with you from this. What I've put together.
Oh God.
So if you let me just ramble here for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut up because I have to eat it. I have to eat it.
No. I just wanted to fully get these thoughts out to you. So from my perspective, I'll say what I've been watching is Russell came back into the show basically thinking I'm the king, and Chibnall just didn't quite know how to get this right. I'm going to make a huge universe like Marvel. Everyone's going to watch it. We're going to bring it back to its popularity that was there in Series 4. And so basically he hired Shooty, and he was telling him, yep, this is huge, you know, you're going to be around for a few years. We can do this for years. You're going to get a pay rise, this, that, and that. Season 1 comes out, and as Russell said, it was moving slower than they anticipated in terms of the ratings over time.
The ratings, right. The ratings were not there, but
it was slow.
They still gave him a raise, though.
Yeah, it was slow. And the thing is, though, you know, probably when they were filming the first season, he said to him, look, you're going to get a pay rise. It's going to be huge. We'll be freaking kings of the world. We're going to be everywhere, you know.
But they did give him a big wait. They did give a he did get a big pay raise. But yeah.
I'm talking for season 3. So by the time they get to season 3, because they already shot the first 2 seasons before the first came out. So by the time 3 was about to start, it's a case of, hey, look, the numbers are a bit slower. We don't know if we can guarantee a big pay boost for season 3.
No, actually, that's not.
Right?
No, it's not that. From what I was told, that was never in the conversation about the ratings not being as good. From what I was told, the BBC, there are some things that we're not privy to that makes them determine if shows get approved or not or whatever. And as much as people tried to make it doom and gloom, it wasn't doom and gloom. They were happy with what they saw for BBC stuff. As far as Disney Plus goes, it wasn't as bad as they were making it out to be. But again, he wanted to emphasize to me that it was a situation where a little kid asked for more candy and got candy. And they're like, oh, I got candy. Now I'm always going to ask for candy. So now I'm going to think, wow, they're just going to give me raises all the time because what are they going to do? It's not like I'm going to quit or anything, right?
Do you think season 1 was like gangbusters huge? He would have got the pay rise again. Like we're talking as big as Tenet is. If it
The point is that he got the raise. So
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with season 1 deciding season 3. It was he got these roles, he turned them down, they gave him a pay raise. He got new roles, he turned them down, he asked for a pay raise, we'll get back to you. He figured that means yes. He says he's doing season 3. He's all happy about it. He's not happy completely because he's filming it. He's happy because he thinks he's getting a big raise.
He's jumped the gun completely.
And the problem is that they didn't know how he was going to react to them not giving the big raise. So they assumed the worst, and they kind of wanted to do damage control next, thinking that he was going to talk to the press, he was going to flip out, he's going to announce shit, and he's not going to be professional. So they jumped the gun, and they cut the segment, and then there was a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation went sort of like, we're not giving you a raise, and you're under contract, and, you know, it didn't get like violent, but it was towards the effect of where they weren't happy that he asked for a raise again, but they understood it, but they said no. And they told him, you know, when you have contracts, maybe you're not familiar, but these guys don't get raises, Doctor Who. They don't, you know, if you think that's what's going to happen, that doesn't happen like that. And
you're not going to be earning $1 million. It's not like Charlie Sheen, 2.5 Men. You're not going to be getting $1 million an episode.
No. So it had nothing to really do with. It was just they. I think they said no mostly because he asked twice.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah.
It was probably his agent talking to their finance
probably.
people.
It didn't go over well with them, and they sort of found it as like a disrespect thing.
That's sort of how they maintain that rapport on set, is where they have the legal people deal with this. That way the actor and producers don't get into a fight. Do you know what I mean? The money sort of dealt with.
I mean, the problem is maybe, I can't speak for his agent, but maybe, you know, we did know David Tennant's agent didn't want to do the Doctor Who, so maybe if Shooty was more in control of the agent, maybe it wouldn't have went down like that. But ultimately, he decided to go. Like, they gave him, all right, we're going to do this for you. We're going to let you out of. Nobody bought anybody's contract out, first of all. Okay? He didn't get established yet for him to buy out his own contract, where he's only appeared in Barbie.
Too big to cast as the Doctor. I honestly think you can't cast an up-and-coming Hollywood star as, you know.
Well, now, going forward, from what he told me, now that's changed. Now they can't do that anymore. They have to.
My second point that I'm up to now.
Yeah.
This is thanks to your point as well about the companion. So I've written that you've gone with Billie Piper because you've worked with her and she's trustworthy, and you don't need to know, is this person going to always ask for money? Is this person going to quit after? Billie Piper, you've worked with her. She's always reliable. You get along with her. It's like easy, done. Don't worry about it. Throw her in there.
Right.
What do you think? Sound about right? And then the third point I was going to say is,
before you get to the third point, let me answer that point. So, again, one of the things that was emphasized, I guess, by Russell to the BBC and to Bad Wolf and in their talkings was how everything was going wrong with the Shooty, with the Millie Gibson, the scripts, him looking bad from the Whovians, that he doesn't know what he's doing, that he's older. Like, the amount of abuse that he got from everybody trying to come up with why the scripts are wrong was a lot of stress for him. But of course, he's going to take it. But he was pissed off. But one of the things he mainly conveyed was, while this was going wrong, Jodie was a delight. Thank you, Jodie Whittaker. Like, Jodie, you really came through for me. And Billie Piper. And Billie Piper coming through for him.
She was great in that episode.
There's a loyalty there.
Yeah.
That is so powerful that you may see her again more.
Did you think Billie looked like Jodie with the big blonde hair, and they're both sort of the same age?
I just thought that Jodie sounded so much better under Russell's writing that I kind of wish we could have seen Russell's.
Yeah. I believed she was the Doctor more so than when she was the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to touch upon the Timeless Child.
Yeah, do you want me to just get this point quickly? It's not that big.
Well, let me finish with the things going. Okay, so he trusted Billie. He loves Billie. She loves Doctor Who so much that even if she would have agreed that that's what should happen or not happen, she's not going to question it, and she's going to do him a favor that he gave her a favor of casting her. She's going to give him whatever he needs. And it was absolutely
Doctor Who most weekends anyway, so it's
right.
Like
it was absolutely. I will do whatever you want, and he was grateful. And again, it was a gimmick.
Yeah,
no idea what that was supposed to be. He had no idea, but he felt that she wasn't going to be the Doctor. That's why he didn't put the name. Right?
Is it true that they shot that like only a few weeks ago with just her?
It was. I guess they were trying to get a doctor, and it wasn't working.
Is that true though? That it was only a few weeks ago.
It was very recent.
So it was going to fade to black originally.
They didn't want to go fade black. They wanted to have a doctor, and they couldn't get a doctor.
Was there any idea of who else they were thinking of?
No, but it was just it. The way he said it was, he's like, you have no idea how desperate he was.
Yeah.
It was that bad. It was worse than they even reported it.
So he would have been really stressed out from February when they did the reshoots up until last month when they found her.
He was beyond. Okay, so this whole experience with season 1 and season 2 was the most stressed out thing he's ever encountered because every script got altered for some reason. So, and again, it does bother him because he does watch everybody. And of course, Shooty watches everybody too. But it does bother him that everybody's talking like he's fucking senile, he's this, he's that, he fucked up Doctor Who, killed Doctor Who, killed Doctor Who. They have no idea as showrunner all this shit he has to deal with. Literally. Now, again, let's go. Okay, before I jump into the Timeless Child thing, go to third point.
Oh, so the third part is with the Millie Gibson stuff and, having to change the script because of the companions and whatnot now. This is more evidence that you really should stop making your companion the big centerpiece and it's all connected and it's a mysterious woman and there's a big backstory. It's like, no, just cast the companion to be exposition and a likable person to be with the Doctor. That way it doesn't matter if they leave after a year because anyone can be the companion, When you make them something, it's so much. It's like, okay.
You see, I don't know if this experience will change his view on that, but that's exactly right. They always made the companion more important than the Doctor, and what happens if that companion becomes a diva on set and causes a problem? I don't want to film tonight. It's so late. I don't want to do this. Now, again, from what I was told, it wasn't just his decision. Because there was executives there, things going on when it was happening. They saw this. They're old school. So they didn't like that shit at all. And they didn't give a fuck. Like, he knew it. They knew it. And it had to be done. But then they had to hire her back. But maybe she learned her lesson. But the whining was just ridiculous.
She was very young.
It was real.
How old was she? Like 18?
Was she 17, 18 when she was? She didn't know. She was a kid. She didn't know.
Yeah.
She didn't know. She just being a kid. She didn't know. But so I want to touch base on. There's things I said in the cast before about how things go on. Remember when I said the transition from Russell to Moffat to Chibnall?
Yeah.
Russell has his idea about things. And we do know that he was really pissed with Moffat changing that shit with the Time Lords. That was a real fucking thing. Also a real thing that Moffat and him didn't agree about Rose Tyler, and Moffat had made every instance to always have a different romance, and Russell did not like that. And regardless of them putting River Song and their thing together, that was not the same impression. Like, there can't be two. It's either Billie Piper's Rose or River Song love interest, not both. So he was not happy with that. That may affect if we see River in the future. But what I was also told was somebody wasn't happy that Chibnall had made it to Joe Martin, that she was the first. And then it was more than one people, and it was a thing where he always had a rule that he doesn't undo what the writers does, that just like he doesn't want them to undo with him. But Russell was more of, he's always been the first Doctor's the first Doctor. And in any interview you see him say, he said the first Doctor's the first Doctor. Now, that's a contradiction because now this is your best friend that's making this where she's the first Doctor. Yeah. He doesn't agree with it from what I understand, and none of them do. And he's tried to put stuff in there to cause maybe a shift, to maybe you formulate your own mind about it, where maybe everybody drops it, but it's not going to be dropped, and he knows it's not going to be dropped. But from what I understand, he doesn't believe that Joe Martin's the first. In fact, a key thing to how Joe Martin is 100% not the first is that Russell put it in the TARDIS console that the TARDIS doesn't recognize her as the first. And if the TARDIS doesn't fucking know, which the TARDIS does know, then there you fucking go. Now, what place did they put her in? They put her in as something happens with Jodie, where she regenerates into Joe Martin and then goes back to Jodie again. Because if you look at the order, it was Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, and then it was Joe Martin's Doctor, and then it was David Tennant. So that's the TARDIS telling you the fucking order. And honestly, that's all you go by, as far as I'm concerned. Russell as the writer, that's the order. And again, you didn't see no Chakra Doctor in there. You saw 1, 2, you saw War Doctor. You did not see the Chakra Doctor in there. Okay? That other thing was just a nod, an Easter egg, but that wasn't canon. So, again, the TARDIS recognizes Joe Martin as after the 13th. And that is what Russell conveyed to how that appears on the screen.
That happened as well, though, in the last episode when they flashed through all the Doctors. Was it in the Interstellar Song Contest when they showed all the Doctors' faces? Or the story?
She was not the first, right?
No, she was after Jodie.
She was 100% not the first.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's very easy to say that time is manipulated. She comes after Jodie. And then the way to fix it is to revert it like they did with the Master, where she's back to Jodie. Okay? You could do that very easily. Time Lords could do that. They're that powerful. They can make it where the Doctor wouldn't even fucking know.
Well, there could easily have been a gap. You know why Tennant appeared with his clothes on already? Did Jodie actually regenerate into Joe Martin and then something happened and then Tennant popped? You know what I mean? Like, it was so weird how his clothes were on. Was there a gap in time that they were
There was some type of manipulation going on.
Yeah. I was going to say to you before as well, this is some really good information, and a lot of Whovians won't see this because, the Real Whovians Cast 2016 doesn't have the thing in there. We need to add a subtitle for the...
Okay, so you're correct because, again, I admitted that to Old Doc. So what do you want to put for the title?
We need something to, because it's just good
RTD, The Truth Revealed, what?
It could be exclusive Doctor Who's future revealed.
Or insider info to what went wrong.
Yeah, what really went wrong with season 2 of Doctor Who? I'll send that in the comments.
Season 1 and 2.
Season 1 and 2.
Because it goes back.
With Disney's Doctor Who?
No, I'm just going to put what really went wrong.
Yeah. Put Doctor Who in there, though, because sometimes people might not see with the metadata, Whovians doesn't come up if you type Doctor Who in. Because whenever I search you on YouTube, if I search Doctor Who, right, your videos never pop up.
That's crazy.
And I know, it sucks. So, yeah, if you just, whenever you put Doctor Who in, though, it pops up. So, it's just good info to get out there for people, I think, if there's a lot of people who are confused about what's going on. Good chance to boost the channel. But, yeah, you're right about, yeah.
Of Disney Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That's why I have my group, yo.
It is funny, though, because you never really think about what... Russell is overly political, yes, but he's not a bad writer. He always finds a way to make it work. So why is every other episode great that he hasn't written for the last 2 years? Probably because the scripts got compromised.
They got compromised. That's the whole point, is that the stuff that came out perfect is something that wasn't compromised, obviously. So
if you look at the best episodes, it was, whether it was the Story of the Engine, Dot and Bubble, The Well, Lux. Did he write Lux?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, look, they're not season openers or closers, because even 73 Yards and Lucky Day I thought were really good. So it seems like his open and close is sort of compromised the most.
I do like the fact that, like, they believe that Joe Martin's not the first, and that he snuck it in there that if the TARDIS tells you the order, that's the order. Like that Joe Martin's after that. And they did it multiple times where you get the fucking hint if you didn't know anything. I don't think he's really going to address it because there's so many things going wrong with Doctor Who now that to add something else to things going wrong. And again, he is worried about how his friend's going to take it, Chibnall, because like he whether he agrees or disagrees, like it would be breaking his own rules, kind of. But then he doesn't like the way it is. He wants it known that she's not the first Doctor. But
do you think he wants to throw in as many, even with the gods, as many myths about the Doctor's past that you sort of go, that's all crap?
I got nothing about that at all. I have no idea. I'm not even going to speculate. I don't know. The only thing I know of is that there was like, he was happy beyond belief with Jodie Whittaker and Billie Piper. So I don't know what that means. I would tend to believe that meant that that's part of his inner circle and that she's going to appear. I don't know if she's going to.
Women.
Listen, I honestly think, and it's not going to be a popular opinion, and I don't care, but she did so great. I think he needs to, make Jodie Whittaker be the Doctor for the Christmas special. I'm sorry.
Is it going to be a flashback episode?
You know what? Because he needs time to figure it out, and he can't bring it. He just has to do a past story or something. So I would just say Jodie Whittaker or a past Doctor, and they emphasize no to Tennant, so that they don't have a contract. So I don't know, but not that he wouldn't appear ever, but.
Why don't they just do like a 3 Doctors thing where they have like Whittaker and Piper and whoever else?
From what I understand, the thing that's holding up is not it being made. It's that he can't film it if he doesn't know how much to spend. Yeah. And they want that Disney money. They really want that Disney money. And
you'd have to get filming by August, right?
I mean, if they don't have the Disney money, it's going to be a significant drop, and that's going to affect the script also because they're not going to be able to do certain things.
But what was one of the great Whittaker episodes, might I say, was Eve of the Daleks, and it was like on 3 different sets. That was it. They're in a little hotel. it could be done.
Yeah, but and again, Christmas is not. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Christmas. It doesn't have to be like.
We don't need a time hotel or Kylie Minogue or nothing like that.
I mean, again, it could be. You know what? Maybe this is an opportunity for Russell to definitively. He could probably work it where Joe Martin's doctor believes she's the first because she doesn't have memories of the other doctors, but she's not the first.
Would you bring her back for the Christmas special?
Joe Martin?
Yeah.
Not by herself.
No. You don't think she could carry the episode on her own?
No, it's not that she can't carry it on her own. It's just that the fandom is so fucking toxic right now that they would tell her fuck off. Like, because they would not. You imagine, one, you don't know what she is, even though they like her, and now she's shoved in our face.
Yeah.
Now is not the time to shove her in our face. So, like, people are not going to react well. So
as long as you've got, usually for Christmas, what he likes to do is he sort of does a spin on an old Christmas story, and he casts a really big actor as the companion for the episode, like a really popular, can bring in non-casual viewers. So really, you just need Billie Piper with someone like a male maybe who's really popular in England.
But I don't know if they're going to go with Billie Piper at all. I don't know if he's going to do that. They don't know if he's going to do that. They're thinking he's not.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying. The only thing is that you've sort of, say the casual viewers that aren't us, right? You've sort of promised them we're going to see Billie Piper now.
Not really. Not really.
People are a bit excited.
You know what? He didn't think it through. It was so desperate. He had no intention of her being the doctor, but he just needed to put something on there. He would explain it later on. But
you saw that regeneration clip got like 30 million views.
Which,
now so
what?
don't.
But that's another thing. Now what? Because again,
that my family, for instance, that don't really watch, they're going, "Oh my god, Billie Piper's Doctor Who! I've got to watch this now."
But that's the point. If he didn't have any intention of her being the doctor, how do you know if those 33 million views are happy with her being the doctor? You don't know now. So now what the fuck do you do?
You just try it at Christmas?
I don't know. I still don't think. I'm sorry. I love Billie, but no, I can't. I'm not changing. I don't change my opinion for anything. I'm dead set that the doctor should not choose the image of the woman he loves that's sick and twisted. So it has to be that the doctor was abducted. The TARDIS has no power. He got transported somewhere, and the TARDIS manifested Bad Wolf because there's no energy. That's it.
Well, it doesn't have to be that crazy. How long in the regeneration process do they have time to change parts of themselves before it's permanent? Like 12 hours?
That was an old school Romana thing. I mean, they never really established that. We never seen a female regenerate where they could say, I don't like this face or this face nowadays compared to back then.
You could do a whole episode where the doctor's picking different faces until they find the right one.
I don't think that should be. I think that should be strictly to like a female Time Lord. That they had, for some reason, they have a different ability.
Well, there is a female Time Lord at the moment.
We don't know because that was not an intention that she was going to be a doctor.
But I'm saying if this is, we're just talking emergency scenario, they have to get a Christmas episode out and explain the Billie Piper thing.
Listen. They are well aware that, here's the thing. They are well aware in their brain they have to get it out, but they're not going to damage it further. So if it's going to be a thing where they're going to damage it further, they will not do the Christmas thing.
Okay.
That's from what I was told.
This is juicy. This is juicy stuff.
And I really feeling horrible because I don't want to, like, kind of take away anything from Shooty. And I kind of feel that being spoiled with this information, I'm kind of thinking differently, and I don't really want that.
Yeah, but he's a guy doing a job. We haven't said anything negative. We think he's great. He just wanted more than he was offered, and that's all there is to it. And it just wasn't what he.
I guess you're entitled to. I guess I don't know. I'm kind of feeling that. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm grew up on Doctor Who, and I love it so much, and I feel it differently than other people.
Yeah.
Like today, I got people trolling, and they're like, it's just a TV show. But then they're like, touch grass, and they're like this. The show sucks. Join us. No, not joining you. A real fan would dump the show. No, a real fan. I'm a real fan, and I won't. I mean, yeah, I was upset initially, but then I came to the conclusion that that's not the Doctor. So,
yeah.
And it turns out that was never meant to be the Doctor.
I think I'm going to be happy as long as the show tries different things. Like, I watched Vincent and the Doctor again last night. And for the most part, the actual villain monster is such a small part of the story. It's like, why can't we do more stories where there's not a monster chasing them? Why can't we just do the Doctor goes back and stops some sort of war happening in the 1800s? Why do we always need a silly monster? You know, you go back to stories like...
Because everything in this day and age is built up to such dramatic proportions that eventually it's going to crash and burn. Because you can't keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger all the time.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why can't we just...
You're gonna have a period where it's gonna drop.
Yeah.
Because then it has to go from the bottom to go back up again.
Do you like an episode like Demons of the Punjab when they went off to India?
Not really.
I loved that. I thought it was a great episode.
I'm
sick of hallways and military. I'm sick of it.
The reason why I didn't like that is because Vaughn had educated us that because she's part of, she's African American and she is part of our movement and everything, and she's well vested in the history of Rosa Parks, and she had informed us that that was complete bullshit. So, like, I kind of don't want people trying to educate our children about history and then totally giving us a bullshit aspect of history, and then these kids are watching Doctor Who and like, that's the way it was, and it wasn't. So I kind of don't want. I don't want historical. I don't want historical things because, again, there is the message, and the message was they're trying to convey how Thomas Edison is. That's not the case, and I just don't like that. So I don't really want this to be an educational. As the guy put it to me today, they know it's not a children's show anymore. They know, and anybody that tries to keep saying that. They're fully aware it's not a TV show. They don't care what Russell says. They know it's not a TV show for kids.
Yeah.
They're flat out said it. They said it to me today. Just like I've been saying. They said it to me flat out today. So that's the wrong thing. Look, you know what I kind of want? I'm so sick of the trolling that I just want them to fucking shove the fucking show in these toxic Whovians motherfucking faces and say, fuck you, idiots. Because they are wrong. All of them are wrong. I am so sorry, but they're wrong. And they keep going on with their narrative. And they're so full of shit, it's not even funny. We may agree about the Billie Piper thing, all of us, at the same time. But I don't agree with any of the way they fucking go about doing things. I don't agree with the bullying, the harassing the actors, reaching out to the actors, harassing them on Twitter or on X, harassing them to get a response. They're Whovian ambulance chasers. I don't like that. The vulgar stuff that they've said to David Tennant and Georgia Tennant is disgusting, and I will never agree with that. And they are so fucking worse and bad for this community. They make us look bad as Whovians. It's a goddamn embarrassment.
Like I said the other week, we've just got to drown them out with more positive talk.
What a talk. Noah's Ark, drown them out. Now, look, I'm going to tell you right now, and you know me. Yeah. You know me more than any of the real Whovians probably because you were with me most of the time. So you know the way I get. You know my opinion of these Johnny-come-latelys. We were here first. Sorry. You're not going to have your little trolls destroy the image of my show. You're not going to destroy my reputation. You're not going to destroy my sources. You're not going to badmouth anybody. You're nobodies. The Real Whovians cast is going to carry on. And, you know what, same thing with the Everything show and all my theories and all my source material, all that stuff. You didn't win anything. The only thing you did was fucking embarrass yourself. and I'm going to be more adamant than ever before because of the trolling that I'm going to fucking get it where they're going to stop fucking talking about Doctor Who, period. Where they're going to be so goddamn embarrassed they're going to stop it. Because I've had enough.
Hey, X is not a nice place.
You want to go today and you fucking live stream today how Russell today would save your fucking life, but then you rip the motherfucker apart in every which way noticeable. You're a fucking piece of shit. Sorry. People are pieces of shit. Trash bag Whovians. And all his fucking people that, sorry guys, but if you're going to comment on my channel, I'm going to look up your YouTube channel. And guess what? Where does it say you're from? Ireland. Why are you all from Ireland? I don't know, but maybe it's to do with the Irish zone and Tartar zone, maybe. So how about stay there and stay off.
I've got Irish heritage. I've got a lot of Irish heritage.
But like these people, you don't think I go on that channel to see that they're regulars? That they're coming on my channel and they're trying to fuck with my people? Get out of here.
I just know that maybe I think my deep anger comes from my Irish roots. So we're an angry little horde, us Irish.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, we're not like you, Staten Island.
I'm happy that Doctor Who has a future, and I'm happy that all these assholes are wrong about the ratings. I just want them to implement it. We need a Christmas special.
Well, you know what? Let's be fair. Most of the Christmas specials suck.
I don't care though. We need it.
Do we?
It needs to be there.
Why don't
That's like having Christmas without Santa Claus. That's like having Christmas without presents. That's like having Christmas without church. Like you need all that.
Yeah.
That's what you need. It's a regular. Chibnall broke the fucking tradition, but now we need it back, and it can't be changed.
We need it back.
We do.
I'll just cook you a Christmas dinner, and you won't even worry about it.
And again, you have to understand what I'm losing today for this. I built my whole gaming thing the whole year. I'm going to lose everything I built this whole year and a half.
Yeah, I saw that. That's terrible.
Today, I'm going to lose it today.
What's happening?
For Doctor Who. Because I can't do both.
Was it worth it?
Well, I mean, the thing is that it isn't that simple. Like I'm not working, so you know how much money more I have to spend, and the fact that I've been getting this money to do this stuff with the gaming, it might be over.
Gaming,
like complete, yeah. Like the competition may be over completely.
Are you ready to call it quits?
No, but I don't know because where is my mind? My mind is with Doctor Who. Could I effectively play anything? No, not really. Not right now.
It's a lot of effort to put in to retain that spot.
It is.
You have to eat and sleep and study trophies on games to know.
I have notebooks and pads and Post-its all over the place. My living room has become like man cave. Poor Sharon. I got a gaming thing right in the fucking center. I got like fucking snack table. It's taken over everything.
I think at the end of the day, rankings will change, names will be forgotten, but your books will live forever. So I think maybe that's a better investment going forward. At least complete the series. I think you've got to at least complete the series.
I got to complete something.
Yeah. And then one of your sons gets married, and it's called Wedding Vows Book 20, and it's the end of the series. Beautiful. Joe Cap the end.
The books are fictional, so it wouldn't be tied with that.
Oh, shit, sorry. Mocap The Wedding Book 20.
Unfortunately,
this has really energized you, that mild stroke you had on camera on Sunday.
I feel like I'm having a stroke now, believe it or not. But it's just I'm talking to you and I'm into Doctor Who and I'm like shaking that the gaming's going to end.
Well, maybe you should go for a nice walk, Central Park.
It's you understand like how it works. I have this guy that has been getting 20, 30, 40 platinums a day.
Yeah.
And it was only a matter of time. And somehow I inverted that, right? And I spent money and I got money somehow and I spent and spent. While we're doing this for an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to look at it because I'm gonna probably break something to a million fucking pieces, honestly.
Yeah. Maybe you've just got to let go like Capaldi did in Twice Upon a Time. Let go.
Everything I built for a year and a half is going to be shattered in fucking 5 minutes today.
Yeah, but you might gain another 5 years of good health not stressing about it. No. I've seen those games. That's going to give you a heart attack, that bloody wood chopping shit.
No, it's not. It's playing everything. So it's also playing the AAAs. Like, in other words, the plan is to get such a big enough lead that I can play a AAA without losing my ranking. I can't play God of War Ragnarok if somebody's right behind me.
Yeah, but you're not going to drop out of the top 10. You might just lose 4th spot.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but the guy who's going to come in 4th, how do you know he doesn't get sick next week and loses his...
Because it's not a question of him. They're moving up too. The people that are ahead of me moving up too. The amount of, and again, it's also a money game too, unfortunately, because these people are dropping money too.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm stubborn. That's another factor.
Has the gaming made you happier?
Yes.
Well, shit. There's a lot to think about here, isn't there?
Gaming has given me a purpose. More. Because you have to understand, I got a failure for the first time with the books because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I have been so spoiled with the books being so successful enough to carry on to the next project that this was the first time I failed, where I lost $3,000. And then I even lost more money to try to make up for that, and it didn't work out. So, to do that, I put myself in the hospital thinking I had a heart attack, and it wasn't a heart attack. It was I pulled all the muscles out of my back and my chest, carrying 30 hardcovers throughout the streets of Manhattan for months. I can't do that. I have a hernia now. I can't do that anymore. So I can't carry around the briefcase. I can't carry around the pamphlets. I can't carry around the postcards and the bookmarks and the books, and I can't do it. I don't, and my health too. I can't, just like I really can't do live streams long, but it's been changing. That's weird. I can't. So like I have to do it a different way, and I mean, right now the focus should be on my health. But I feel healthier when I'm talking about Doctor Who, which is crazy. Only now I'm feeling like, because of the gaming, I'm feeling like horrible. Now again, maybe something happened. Maybe the guy had diarrhea or some shit. Maybe he didn't play shit today. That's a possibility. I don't know. But you know what?
Well, if it kicks off, Staten Island might be all right.
I don't know, but I'm thinking that even after you and I do this cast, I have all these people sending me messages today. They want to do casts.
Get them in.
Well, I'm tiring too, you know.
There's many Matrix variants that can keep going.
Yeah, Jesus. So in closing, I'm not going to say I'm sorry to Russell, because I am mad that he did the Billie Piper thing. I feel bad the way it went about, but I'm not going to say I'm sorry because he should have figured something out. So I'm not going to apologize to Russell. But
yeah,
it's a genuine reaction. I still feel that way. I don't. I understand you go fade to black, but I don't know what could have been done. I don't know how it would have been done better. I couldn't step in his shoes, and I wouldn't know what to do better than he would. So I can't really.
Be the worst Doctor Who showrunner, I think. Do you know why? Because I would love to piss off the fans. Like, I would have a Doctor's Regeneration fade to black, and we just never know which incarnation is next. Like, it would be the 30th Doctor, and I would skip 10 Doctors and just have this big gap. Like, I would just piss everyone off.
I mean, but again, I was so mad. I was so mad. That was the end of the Whovians cast. That was it. That episode was it.
For 3 minutes.
No, you stepped in, and then Joe stepped in, and Sharon stepped in, and then Joe. It still was going to be over for me. Joe was still going to be the host.
Yeah.
But then it became the bullshit with the trolling, and he didn't want any of that nonsense.
No, he spoke to me, and I was like, "Dude, it's a lot. It is a lot.
It's a lot. You can't. You're going to inherit all the fucking trolls there is."
That's what I said to him. I said, "Your generation, my dad's generation, yous are a little bit different to us. We don't like conflict and drama. You guys don't care. You're like the mafia. You just go and start a fight in traffic because you're like, I've got to get justice. I've got to get justice for this shit." And we're like, "Nah, man.
You don't understand. I think you heard stories. My father would take us on the weekends, right? And he would have his gold rings on, and he knew everybody. Everybody knew him, and he's playing the numbers, and he's with the loan sharks and the bookmakers, and like, all right, we went and did stuff with him, and then we would go temporarily to the bar. He would play the number, and people would try to fuck with my father while his kids are with him. And my father's like, "Could you watch them for a minute?" Okay, and my father would be beating the shit out of the person in the 80s in the corner.
Yeah.
And then his fucking ring would be embedded in the guy's fucking head. And there would be no calling of the cops. There would be like, "Get him the fuck out of here." And they would throw the guy out of the back like he was trash. Like, "Get the fuck out of here," and walk all the way around. It was like respecting. There was no...
It's your generation.
You just got your ass beat.
Yeah, it just built different to us.
Right?
We've never
you just got beat up. And it was an instant. You could be like, "Hi, how are you doing today?" The moment that disrespect happened, you got instant transformation into the Hulk. You got your fucking ass beat. Just like my father taught me when I was in school. If somebody fucking hits you, you hit them back harder. That was it. These teachers didn't fucking protect me when I got beat up all the time. I started swinging back. And that was the end of that. That was the last time you bullied me because your ass was on the fucking floor.
What did you think we got taught when we were kids? Don't fight back, the teacher, you know? So now it's a case where, you know, me and Joe are like, you know, late 20s going, "Oh, I hate drama, I hate conflict," because there's no one to really help. But you're the type of guy who goes, "Nah, man, we got to go punch the shit out of those bastards."
You don't understand. Like, I could have been killed so many fucking times. When I worked from my last job, and this guy, like, they had a weapon, and when he's talking shit, like, I'm like, "I'll punch out now. Let's go." Jesus. And the guy was starting trouble, right? And he made threats, right? And he says, he's like, "I'm gonna get my brother, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you," right? This was like fucking 2023, 2024, whatever, right? It was probably 2023, I think, or maybe 2024 early, right? January, right? And I'm like, I go to him, I'm like, "You don't need your brother." He's like, "What?" I was like, "You said you're going to beat the shit out of me with your brother. You don't need your brother. I'm going to punch you out right now. We're going to go right now. Outside right now." And the guy's like, and then the guy throws something at me. And they're looking like, "Oh, fuck no. Oh, shit. And it was like he threw the fucking thing and bounced off my chest, right? And I'm like, what was that? Like, did he? And they're like, oh, and then he ran. He ran in the out the front. And then my friend, who was a manager that I was training, was like, oh my God, so and so is upstairs, so and so. And then like the guy was a scrawny fox or whatever. But anyway, I lost. Yeah, I don't take shit. I'm sorry. I don't like bullies. Never like bullies. Don't like people talking shit. Sorry. Never been. Never gonna be. Never like bullies. That's why I kind of wish like people that bully like around the area so I could beat the shit out of them, honestly. Just punch the shit out of them. But oh well. Can't do that, I guess. So I'm not even joking. that's the sad part. I'm not even joking. I'm fucking dead serious. I want to punch people sometimes. Old school in it. Just want to punch people. Who's this? Oh man. Yeah. You there?
Wow. What a story.
Yeah.
What a story. It's just like Toys R Us when they were trying to kill you because it was in a rough area.
It was no KB Toys. I locked it. The guys, they went to steal the PlayStation. What was it, 2? And I locked them in with me. Like I wasn't gonna let them leave, and they beat the shit out of me, and they threw me into a grid. And my cashier was like, just like, you know.
You think in 100 years they're gonna go back to your YouTube channel and go, "Wow, Jesus really did walk among us"?
No. Listen, we were both raised differently.
Yeah.
And again, I was talking about the other day. I don't want people to think with the 2025 mentality. I mean, I said this on the stream, and some people are like, "Oh my God, look! If I disrespected my father, I got hit, right? And if I really disrespected my father, there was a few instances where he hit me with the belt.
Yeah.
Okay. I got hit with the fucking belt. I felt that. And again, I don't count that as abuse. I don't, whatever. That's one thing. Is respect is everything. So, in my family, so I understand it. So I was not like that way. My kids, definitely not. But, it's just that's the way I was raised. Whether it's the right way, the wrong way, okay. But anyway, these people just talk so trash in this community. They're so fucking nasty.
It's so weird because Doctor Who's a show that's like about, everyone being overly non-violent and everyone accepting everyone else and, let's save the world. And now everyone just hates each other who are in the Doctor Who
Everybody goes to war with everybody.
It's so weird.
I was pissed today because Sam the mayor, who he threatened Tartazone, right?
No.
And then Tartazone filed a police report against me because Sam the mayor threatened him. Like, hello, just because he's in the podcast doesn't mean I fucking condone that behavior. Like, why are you filing a police report on me, idiot? You fucking jerk off. But anyway, were you scared to file it on him? But anyway, Sam the mayor goes on Dr. Freedom's fucking live stream today, and he's like, Matrix Lord said this, that Disney Plus is ending. I'm like, where the fuck did I say Disney Plus is ending? I said that, in my opinion, I think that that's going to go away eventually, maybe next year, maybe whatever, but I didn't say that was from a source. And then, of course, you get, oh, well, I'm not trying to go against him, but it's like, makes you so true, what the fuck he's talking about. It's like, so what do you think's going to happen? Then I get mad. And then it starts the whole process, right? So I'm like, no, I don't want no wars. This is crazy, And then he's like trying to send me to a cast. I don't want to go to a cast with you. Like you pissed me off. And then I'm like, he's like, I made a mistake. I didn't. All right, so then correct your fucking mistake. Because he was live. It's too late now.
Yeah, you got to take your quote back.
Tell him, hey, by the way, when I told you this is what was meant.
Yeah. This is what I said. It would be hard if you ever became showrunner of Doctor Who because they'll go back 100 episodes of Whovians and go, he said a word that I don't like.
I know.
So
Well, no, I didn't give a shit about that because if you remember, I always have intentions to run for politics. And then Sharon said, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And I actually changed my plans. I said, all right, that's it. Nope.
Sharon is your life.
That's it.
She has to be.
Yeah,
Sharon has got balls of steel, I've got to say. Sharon is
Yeah.
going to, she says, Joe, cut the shit out.
No, well, no. Like, it's a thing where, look, I you know what? Hey, I kind of am jealous of her being a black belt. Yeah. I always want to be a karate kid, right? So, like, her being trained and could kick the shit out of people, probably me. I wanted to always be a karate kid, yeah.
You
or
watch
whatever.
Karate Kid?
No, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to always, like, my dad took me to see Karate Kid, all that. I was like, all into it. I was like, oh. I never learned it, but I didn't watch Cobra Kai, though, but.
You didn't like Cobra Kai?
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't have the same. I know.
Come on.
I know.
That is like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I know. And the movie's out. Is the movie out?
I just saw it. Yeah, I saw it last night. Yeah, it's good. I got to go see Ballerina today, though, because I'm hearing it's like the most violent movie ever made.
Is it? Does that mean he's alive or is this a prequel?
No, it's before John Wick 4, after John Wick 3.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, she's the ballerina in John Wick 3 that kept standing on her toes and was bleeding. You remember the scene where he went to see the ballerinas?
Okay.
It's meant to be that character. You've seen all the John Wicks, right?
I didn't see all of them.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good. The fourth one's the best.
I didn't see 4.
Incredible.
Yeah,
You got something up to do.
I do. But going back to the gaming, yeah. So, what?
We've got to drop the gaming.
I just named the podcast I was going to do. I just created the whole thing. I was going to ask you to do all work for it.
Your channel would skyrocket if you did TV reactions, movie reactions. Those things absolutely kill it in views.
Well, I need a new equipment. I need lighting. I need a microphone here, like a whole goddamn thing.
Stop paying the money for gaming. Get some new setup. Do some reactions. Beautiful.
But I like that being in a position that nobody's in, that I'm 4 or would be 3 or 2 or 1. Nobody can say that. I like that.
Go hire an intern to do your gaming for you.
Nobody will ever do my gaming for me. I will always do. I'm so paranoid. I won't let anybody near my PlayStation.
You want too many things.
No, I kind of like getting older now. I know that I can't do everything at the same time. So I'm like, all right.
Can't be the top gamer forever.
No, it wasn't the intention to be forever. It was just the intention to reach my goal, being number 1 in America and then the world.
Yeah.
And then not necessarily keeping it for a while, but getting there. I mean, I did everything I set out to do. I beat Akum, I beat Ikameze. So I just won number 1 in America. So you know what? I'm going to listen to your advice. And by the way, please, Hayden, tell them to stop this perception of me that I'm a scumbag. I always listen to my group.
Who said you're a scumbag?
A lot of people are saying, like, I listen to my group, and my group has voting privileges, and my group affects me. And you know that.
Well, I think it'd be evident that you've been talking to the same people for 13 years that you're not a scumbag.
Right. Well, I mean, again, like, that's the whole point, is that I listen to you. Like, when Philip was flipping at me the other day, that was entertaining. But, like,
I when you go off, I just know you're so excited, like a kid who's gone to a shop and sees all these new toys on the shelf. It's like, you just got to let him go. You just got to let him go.
I'm so excited today that I'm having trouble breathing because I'm like, I'm getting everything out and I'm not even catching a breath. So, like, I have like pain, like, right here. Right.
It's your channel. Do whatever you want.
I'm just like, it's exciting getting information that people wouldn't get, right?
Yeah.
And I'm excited that people recognize that there are 2016 episodes of the Real Whovians cast that nobody has 2016 episodes of Doctor Who anything. And same thing with the Everything Show. The Everything Show has its own following too. 2086. So, you know, and people tried to take that, you know, and copy it and failed. It's just like, so I had created a name for the gaming podcast, and it took me forever, and I actually just came up with it, and it was going to happen tomorrow or the next day. Now I don't know. I can't say it on here before we do it, because then someone's going to steal it.
You gave up on The Walking Dead, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that went off the rails quickly.
But you know what? It wasn't just me, though. You know how hard it was trying to do a walking cast where everybody stopped watching it? And then the people that were watching it didn't watch it the minute it came out. There was no Walking Dead parties. There was no... And then even I stopped watching, because like that was the thing. You know where I was. I was like, you kill Rick. First you kill Carl. That's a big thing. And then you kill Rick. I'm like, oh, fuck that.
There's a very simple way for this channel to grow from podcasts, and it's instead of doing an everything show on a movie news, the everything show is about episode 6 of Andor. Same with the Whovians, where it's about the episode of Doctor Who, and we cap it at an hour. Instead of doing 3 hours, we do 1 hour for one episode, and then we do the next episode. You know.
Well, then you have to be like the product manager or some shit like a.
Yeah, but you've got to decide what you're watching, so I know what I got to watch as well.
No, I know, but it's just that. You know what it is? I could go, and that's the weirdest thing. For some reason, I told you my health was like crap, but then I guess I was too busy for my body to catch up with because I'm doing fucking live streams that day, right?
Yeah,
like all day. And I'm like, wow, where did the energy come from? Where did the,
Just pick something easy to watch. Like, we could watch Classic Who episode by episode.
Joe's been trying to get me to watch Andor. Like, so bad. Just like the Resident Evil 7, he's trying to, and I wasn't feeling it the other day, like that game. And I'm like,
we could do like something called the binge cast, where we binge Star Wars and we do episode 1 is episode 1 of Star Wars.
We even did a cast, like the Wheels cast, I think it was something like that. And it didn't go anywhere.
Well, it takes time. It took 2016 episodes of Whovians cast.
A lot of episodes. And again, somehow Doctor Who does leak into the Everything show. So if you count that.
I haven't seen I've seen maybe 25% of Classic Who. So that's definitely something you could go and look at.
Well, we were really heavily reviewing the classic series where I was making tons of thumbnails, remember?
Yeah.
Like we were doing like say 5 podcasts on one episode of Doctor Who, like just really analyzing the shit out of like just talking about everything. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Tom Baker, because that was my favorite. So we were really, I must have had how many podcasts on Robot, and then
I'm really growing. I'm really growing to like Patrick Troughton from what I'm seeing. I'm sort of thinking like William Hartnell was sort of the first Doctor, but Patrick Troughton created what we know as the Doctor today.
Right.
And then obviously,
remember they never called it regeneration with him. They said it was sort of a rejuvenation or something. Right?
Yeah.
But they kind of implied that was like there was no second Doctor. That was kind of implied that was the Doctor.
The younger first.
But they never. But then afterwards, it's regeneration. Whatever.
Then John Pertwee was having a shower and he had a tattoo on his arm. You remember that?
Yep.
I was watching a couple classic episodes last night.
But they all like shit too. Like Capaldi had his fucking ring. It wouldn't take off. And then the moment that thing was done, the regeneration, the fucking ring went down the fucking TARDIS thing.
The first classic episode I ever watched was Pyramids of Mars. I remember going to the library and renting it. And I was like, Jesus, this is old.
But that was my first.
Yeah.
That was my first. That's what hooked me.
I preferred Tom Baker. I preferred his later episodes. So I liked when Adric came into it. That's when I started to get into it. Like the Eat Space trilogy.
I sort of had a unique perspective of K9 because I didn't want anyone to upstage the Doctor. I thought that he was so intelligent he didn't need K9. And I didn't like it when K9 said how to do things. That pissed me off. So, like, the Doctor was the center of the attention to me.
We sort of had a new K9, didn't we? With like, it was only one episode, but we had Handles. Handles would have been a great character. Why doesn't the Doctor have some sort of droid robot companion always with him?
Well, they did that with the Robot Revolution. I was supposed to nod to Star Wars, kind of.
But no, I'm saying like consistently.
That cleaned up the fucking sperm.
Yeah. Imagine if he enters the TARDIS and there's always a robot waiting to take his jacket or his hat or something.
Please. You know how much budget that would have to be? How much money that would have to be to pay for that?
Yeah, but you just put Nicholas Briggs in a little costume. He's always on the payroll.
You know what? The guy explained to me, like, my philosophy on Disney Plus was kind of different than what certain thing really is. Yeah. And that's enlightening to know that. He said, don't think of it that they're not allowed to film without Disney Plus. He's like, because that's not the case. They could do whatever the fuck they want with this BBC.
They just want to get extra money.
They just want the Disney money. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're waiting for.
I don't know what do you watch Doctor Who on?
I watch it on my phone.
Okay, because I watch it on an 80-inch surround Dolby Atmos 4K system. It looks incredible.
I'm sure.
It sounds incredible. So to me, when I watched The Reality War, it was like watching a movie.
You have to understand, I had to work all the time.
Yeah.
So I had to watch that shit on the fucking train. I had to watch that shit walking without breaking my neck. It's always on the go, you know. And now I can't train it out of my brain, even though I'm home. I should try to train my brain to watch it on the TV.
But 70% of the effort goes into the visual and sound, and you miss out on a lot of that when you watch it on your phone. You know? So I wonder if you would enjoy it more watching it on a bigger system.
No, because I'm a writing guy.
You're a story first guy, sort of thing.
Story, and it doesn't matter that, you know, the alien looks great. If the alien, like, just if it makes no fucking sense, I have a problem with it.
Yeah, you're not like me. I get sucked into all the dangly lights and sounds and stuff.
Don't get me wrong. I pay attention to the stuff. Like, Joe wants me, of course, to watch. I still haven't seen Captain America, right?
I liked it.
And my immediate thing is, well, he can never fight the Red Hulk because he doesn't have the super soldier serum, so he'll be crushed like a grape.
Yeah, you're like my dad. You don't overthink this shit too much.
No, it's not overthinking. It's the fact that the shield weighs like 90 pounds.
I know.
With the super soldier serum, he shouldn't be able to throw it like that.
Yeah, he throws it way too agilely. Like, he
can't throw it. Like, it's physically impossible. And that's why I'm like, look, just put something in there that Bucky mixed his drink and he fucking drank the super soldier serum and he didn't know because he was going to get killed. Because there's no way.
I listened to Old Doc when he came on the show the other day, and you didn't agree with him, but I do agree with him. These franchises were never meant to go on as long as they have. And it's really hard. Because,
you know what? I agree with you with that because the thing is, think about this now. Every single franchise is surviving past us.
Yeah.
Right? Think about something like Friday the 13th. Yeah. How that's still alive.
Yeah.
I'm 51.
Exactly.
And I remember, it's so funny, like, my grandmother, I used to call my grandparents Nanny and Poppy, like my grandma and my grandfather. So my nanny would be like, so what did you see today, Joseph? And everything. And I'm like, oh, Nanny, he put a hockey mask on, and he's not excited. And I'm like, and then she's like, what? And she'd be like flipping out, yelling at my father, hitting my father. How could you take him to see that? He's like 5.
It's
you know, my father would get in trouble, huh?
You know, like something like James Bond, right? Right. It's a product of like Cold War era spy thrillers, and it was written by someone who grew up and had different values, who grew up in a different circumstance. So kids today don't have the same brain someone who grew up in the Cold War did. So how can you make something that's the same as it was, but speaks to a new audience?
You can't. Because James Bond was always having women. You know,
but that's why it shouldn't be.
But then something's wrong with that. What do you mean? And now a woman should be James Bond? No. Like, it's just like,
but that's why I'm saying, why do we need to keep these things going when they should have stopped?
Because if it's a property that you can make money from that survived all this time, why end it?
I'm just saying, at some
from a business standpoint, why end it?
Because we love things that remind us of when we were young.
Yeah, but why end it then?
What? it's very hard, and that's why a lot of people struggle.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I don't agree because, like, when I watched Logan,
yeah,
I understood that guy's vision of having an ending.
Yeah,
and I didn't agree with it because I
didn't really like Logan, if I'm being honest.
I'm like, listen, you want that, but the majority of Wolverine fans don't want to see that. Maybe they would want to see that when they're like 99.
Yeah.
And then the newer generation wouldn't understand Wolverine, but nobody wants to see that. And that's why it wasn't as successful. It was critically successful, but then he got up in a bitch fit that Wolverine was coming back in Deadpool, and they would like talking to him because they still want him to direct their projects, but they're like, oh, don't you understand? It's just another universe. It's just another universe.
But this is what's hard. How do you hire an artist to make a product with an existing fan base when they're an artist trying to make a piece that speaks to them? Do you know what I mean? It's like The Last Jedi. Like, this is why Kevin Feige should just produce Marvel movies and not hire artists to direct them, because the company have an idea of the story. The artist can't bring his, like you with your life in Staten Island, your dad, your upbringing, right? If you were a Hollywood director, that's something you would bring to a Doctor Who story. But then someone goes, I don't want to see that. But it's like, yeah, but I'm an artist and I've been trained to write stories.
You know what the problem is? A lot of times they make it too much of themselves into the work.
This is what I'm saying about these old franchises. This is someone who lived 60.
If I'm writing Spider-Man,
yeah,
I'm not putting Sorrow Separation shit in there.
No.
Like, I'm writing Spider-Man as I know Spider-Man to be when I was a kid.
But if Sorrow of Separation, right, became huge, and in 7 years some random kid wrote Sorrow of Separation with his own ideas, is that Sorrow of Separation anymore?
But it's not. The whole point is that it was never meant to be Sorrow of Separation.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It was meant to be the sci-fi novel that the sci-fi characters are leaked in there. Yeah. But I don't recognize it as Sorrow of Separation, just like the second series Tomorrow's Song. I look at it differently. So I look at it at the sci-fi that's connected with that. But what I'm saying is, it is meant to be. From the characters, it is meant to be big. When it gets to the element of the pure time travel of it, right? And not the manipulation of messing with the time travel, messing with the character. Now, when they start to nitty-gritty traveling back and forth through time, battling each other, that's when it gets to be the sci-fi part of it, where now it's sort of like the precursor to it, like the prequel to it, like leading into it, you know? Even though it's like that happens according to the books already, and the timelines kind of change to this, it sort of still ties and leads to it. But I do intend in the future, which I don't know when I'm going to do it, because I must think I'm going to live forever, because I still haven't done it. But I see it as being big. You know.
Yeah. Well,
there's not enough time travel stuff out there that's movies that connected back to the future. Like, it's like there's nothing out there that's huge that's time travel other than what we know.
Yeah.
There's nothing right now. There's no franchise right now that's a time travel thing.
Are you glad they stopped Back to the Future at 3? Are you a Back to the Future guy?
Yes.
Of course. It's the best, isn't it? It's the best movie ever made.
It was the first time that my writing was recognized in Back to the Future Fan Club magazine.
Yeah.
That I wrote a whole thing on time travel theory with Marty McFly in the future. So yeah, Back to the Future was huge with me when I was a kid. And I remember seeing the movie by myself and going to the movies. Like Back to the Future 3 was like one of the movies I saw for the first time by myself, like one of them.
You like 15?
I did not like 3 as much as I liked 2.
Yeah.
And 1. I liked it because it was the Old West and it was okay, but I sort of didn't like it because now you're going to where you're taking the technology out of it, and now you got to ride horses, and now you got to do. It's like what would happen if you put Darth Vader and all these space people in the Old West, and now you have no technology. It's like I sort of felt that took too much of it, and it kind of took away from it. You know.
You like Mad Dog Tannen though?
What?
You like Mad Dog Tannen?
I, from a time travel perspective, don't know how they arrested him, and then now he can't have children, and Biff is not born.
Yeah.
And because like now he's in jail when he wasn't supposed to be in jail, which means that he's not going to have any of those kids, and now the whole Back to the Future franchise is erased as far as I'm concerned. But again, there you go. That's the writer in me thinking, oh shit, well, you can't. That's why I would have liked to see more Back to the Futures, honestly. Because
it's very hard being a writer or an entertainment producer because the whole goal is, these people have worked, say us, the average Joe, if you will, have worked 40 hours a week. Let's entertain them on the Friday night for an hour and a half to 2 hours, right? That's what a movie was meant to be. Let's wow them and give them something to watch, And with all these franchises, we've built up in our heads this continuing story, and it's like, it's so hard. How do you please us? Because we're freaking annoying a lot of the time.
I honestly feel that I don't believe it where they're like, the old school mentality was 3 and done. Like trilogy, like brainwash, right? But then what happened with that? Well, some episodes 3 sucked. And then you couldn't have a trilogy. You had to do more than a trilogy, right? So, like, I was under the impression that if you had a good enough script, you could have had a Back to the Future 4, 5, 6, right?
What would you have done, though?
I wanted, because he said, you go into the future? No, been there already. I sort of envisioned, like, them doing a twist with the time travel where, like, they've talked about it, like maybe the DeLorean hit the fucking UFO in Roswell or something, and then them doing some shit with that, or I kind of wanted, what's that?
That's too batshit though for Back to the Future.
No, well, the thing is, what's really batshit if you think about it? But I feel I wanted them to be in New York. I wanted them to be in like the 20s with the hats, with the fedora, like the fedora. I kind of wanted like the dinosaur thing, like they teased in the ride. I kind of wanted to see that, and they teased you, but you never got it. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted that stuff, and then, and I you know what? Honestly, I feel that if he didn't get sick, like they would have been making more Back to the Futures, I think.
I'm with you. I love, because I'm a bit, I don't know, like I said, I'm sort of weird. Like I'm obsessed with parallels and things being the same. And so I love how they went 30 years in the future, 30 years back in time. But we never saw his grandfather after because we went back to the 1880s. We didn't go to the 20s, which is sort of in the middle of the 50s and the 80s. I feel like we should have gone to the 20s at some point.
Yeah.
And then we should have jumped forward to the 2050s. We should have gone 60 years ahead and seen what was going on.
I don't know if you thought about this, but one of the things that nobody really talks about that they keep showing was that something happened and his mansion got burned down.
Yes.
And I sort of believe that maybe Biff burned down his house.
Yeah.
But he was still rich, but not as rich. Where he wasn't homeless, but again, like I kind of want to know who burned down his house and why and how he ended up talking to Marty and all that,
Did you ever want to know, did you ever hear the alternate universe theory that Back to the Future 1's not the original timeline and it's the second timeline because Marty was this delinquent kid who stole Doc's time machine and went back, and Doc...
I don't believe that. And the only problem is, like, I got the Back to the Future comics written by the guy that wrote Back to the Future. Yeah. And the only problem with that is I didn't like it at all because, again, it's not the guy that's writing Back to the Future when he was 20 and 30. It's the guy writing Back to the Future when he's 70 and 80.
Yeah.
And I don't... nothing against age because I'm going to be that age, but I don't think when you're that age, you remember all the stuff you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And now it's bad shit crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't recognize that.
Pretty bloody perfect. Like I can't tell you, Back to the Future is the greatest movie ever made, in my opinion. I
agree. And again, that I even like 2 even better than 1.
2 is amazing.
2, and there was a lot of things growing up that 2 was better than 1. There was Empire Strikes Back was better than Star Wars, and then it was like Superman 2 was better than Superman 1.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, but then we also got a lot of 3s were terrible.
Superman. Hey, don't you shit on Superman 3 now? Come on.
Superman 3, Alien 3 was shit.
I only watched Alien 3 for the first time.
But the exception is Godfather 3 was shit. The exception is that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was perfect.
Oh, amazing.
Perfect.
Amazing.
But perfect. Kingdom of the Kingdom Skull is all right.
I still liked it. I'm sorry. I don't like Dial of Destiny.
I do.
I just thought it was so boring.
You know what? I do because...
Is it at an older age it just hits differently?
Yes, because when I was a kid, there wasn't no quick... Like, it was like, all right, they're riding in the car, they're talking now. All right, they're in the plane, they're talking now. It wasn't like, jump here, run run there. Like, later movies, it's like, all right, quick. It was like my style of, I believe this. Okay. So,
Sorry, I'm just getting my coffee.
So Alien 3 ruined the franchise for me, to which only recently it's coming back to normal. But
Paul McGann, Alien 3,
Charles Dance in Alien 3.
He was great in that.
And Godfather 1 and 2 are like my favorites. Also, that's like part of my faves, especially since my cousin's in Godfather also. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's he?
He's Michael Corleone's sister's husband that beat her.
Oh, Talia Shire's husband.
Yeah, Talia Shire, right.
You ever watch Rocky?
Oh, that was one of my favorites too growing up.
I love Rocky. All of them. I love Rocky 5.
I was talking about that the other day because my grandfather was a boxing champion, so I was saying how they got me into boxing. I wasn't a boxer, but that's not my thing, but I was,
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like I said, my father was very careful with making sure he was in charge of what I was going to become. Like, there was so many different things happening that people wanted me this, and he was very adamant about that. Like, he took the time out as a parent to look at my behavior and look at the way I acted and saw how I was arriving to wanting to be a cop, and then having my godfather, who was the detective that was one of the ones that cracked the Son of Sam killer, sit me down and tell me how this is not the life that I want. Just like the church wanted me heavy in the church, and my family was heavy in the church, but I was the last of the Capriccioso. So my father's like, no, he's carrying the name down there. There was a lot of things. Like, my father just was like, you're not going to be in the military. You're not going to be in the mafia. Like whatever. You're not going to do this. You're not going to know who I know. You're not. It's like it's like all these different things. Like, it's just, my father was always making sure that you want to be creative. You want to be a writer. Okay. You want to work for a living. You want to do this. Okay. You want to but there was no military. There was no church. There was no. I mean, he was all that. He was in Vietnam. He got to see the Pope whenever he wanted because he was close with the church, whatever that means. That was his life.
Do you ever find it surreal that you've got sons in their late 20s almost now?
It is really interesting that.
Well, how old were you when you had Joe? In your late 20s?
No, it was like my early 20s, really, I think. It was like, I'm getting old enough, so my brain is like getting squish keys, but Having Joseph and Anthony was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life. That they are the greatest. They made me a greater person. They are my greatest gift to the world because they are the greatest thing known to man. My children, and they are better than me. They're smarter than me. And like, if I could live in every timeline, I would make every timeline exactly the same, so I would have them.
Incredible. They're good kids. They're
I love
kids. They're my age, but Joe
I protected them from this YouTube life for so long because people are nasty. And
I mean, they're level-headed. They're well-spoken. They're cool guys. You know, yeah, it's pretty much.
If I never do anything else right in my life, they're the two things I've done right.
And you've done well.
Thank you.
We're just going to sort gaming shit out now.
I just got so passionate about this shit today that I'm like, I had pain right here.
You gotta go eat something nice for dinner.
Yeah, I gotta eat. That's true.
What time is it?
This podcast was 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's late. What is it, like 4 p.m., 3 p.m.?
It's 6:12.
Okay. So
I'm gonna go. Thank you, Hayden.
Yeah.
The savior of the Real Whovians cast, him and Joe.
MAN. I never knew Modern Age Nerd had man as its what do you call it? Acronym, whatever.
That's right. Oh shit!
Yeah.
I know that.
It's man.
They're gonna, as much as I'm an old fogey, they're gonna still get me to do things like make titles for the Real Whovians and thumbnails and shit. Like, it's just gonna take a while, but I'm gonna get there. And
yeah, the Discord seems to be going well, mind you.
Yeah. As long as we don't have trolling. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think trolls can get in the Discord. I think it's private for the most part.
Well, there's some people I don't recognize in there, but that's we'll see.
We're gonna get Ray in there. Ray, did you see Bad Wolf? I don't know if Bad Wolf's here now. He sent some video about this like ghost at his dad's house or whatever, and I was like, nah.
Was that Ray's video or his video?
It was his video.
Oh. I thought it was Paranormal Ripples video. Oh. Please subscribe to Paranormal Ripples, by the way.
Yeah, I'm on that. Ray's got some good stuff. I'm too scared to watch half his videos.
All right, so I'm going to do Real Whovians cast when I can. You know what? I'm going to take a walk. Well, I'm going to eat something. I'm going to take a walk. And then I'm going to... I didn't even buy anything yet. I had all my... You have to see. It's like I have everything written down. And I had like charts and shit and trophies and how many trophies this game has and that. I have pads everywhere. And it would suck. It would suck if I lost it all. But, we'll see.
Take a walk. It always clears the mind.
I'm going to clear my mind, eat, and then we'll see if I play. All right. Get out. And again, everybody, look, have an open mind. You know what? Don't believe the doom and gloom of Doctor Who, and don't believe some of these idiots. That's it. All right. Take care. Bye for now.